Okay, everybody, it's your favorite time of the week. It is time to crack open a Miller Lite, sit down, and enjoy this time with the ATOWN Rundown. We got a lot to unpack, and for this, I got a whole ass 12-pack of Miller Lite Tall Boys sitting next to me while we undergo this dissection, this conversation of what's going on in the city of Atlanta right now. And it's all going to start out with something that is utterly disappointing. We were so excited about something that I consider to be a cultural phenomenon, a union, something that actually really represented Atlanta to a T, full on. And then the NBA decides, because of controversy over social media or some guy really just being a pussy, that they're going to take away Magic City Night from the Atlanta Hawks, where, if you ask me, one of the most important things about Atlanta, what it's most known for, is our clubs. More importantly, our strip clubs. And I don't think it's degrading to women around here. I think a lot of women, men and women alike, like to go out and enjoy themselves and have fun. And in fact, you see places like Magic City, which has been a part of the community for over 30 years, where these women are not just dancers, but they go on to become entrepreneurs, mothers, everything else. Sometimes they make a career out of this, but it's also a place that Atlanta is a city like none other, where our strip clubs are a worldwide phenomenon. You hear them in multiple rap songs. It's part of our culture. And sometimes, I mean, some of these women, they want to just stay there. This is their career, and it's great for them. And then you just take away Magic City Night from Atlanta, when I think this is something that represents us more than anything. And I'm really just upset. I know that I'm carrying on here, but it's fucking stupid that you would take away Magic City Night from the Atlanta Hawks.
Yeah, I think it's ridiculous, because it's not like they were going to have girls out on poles at halftime and stuff. You know, they're still doing the TI performance at halftime, and they're still going to have, you know, lemon pepper wings everywhere and stuff. But the whole thing, it was just a fun, you know, exclusive to Atlanta. It wasn't, you know, they put Magic City on a hoodie, but it's not like they're giving out coupons to go see strippers and handing them out to kids that are at the game. It's a Monday night game in the middle of the school year. You know what I mean? Like, this thing sold out, you know, almost immediately. It was going to be a huge hit, you know, and this all started with Luke Cornett, player from the Spurs, writing his, you know, Substack
it was like article. A fucking memoir, dude.
Yeah, bringing back old media, you know, like, I'm going to sit down and write out my blog, and I'm going to send it to the Atlanta Hawks and Adam Silver. Like, okay, dude, you know what? I think Luke Cornett is anti-woman, man. I think that's what it is. And I think it's bullshit.
All he does,
okay, like, this is not deprecating to women having this night. He sounds like a dweeb. And the whole thing, you know, and you and I have talked about this off the show, but, like, if you don't like strip clubs, don't go. And also, Luke Cornett, you're not playing in the game.
And also, on top of that,
it's against the Orlando Magic.
It's almost like you all you're doing to me is showing your ignorance about the city of Atlanta and about Magic City, first of all. Because, like I said, when you come to Atlanta, it's just a culturally different thing. Like, strip clubs are just part of Atlanta culture. And when you go into Magic City, when you go into Tattletales, when you go into, you know, Onyx or wherever you want to go, like, it's not the grit. These women are there because they want to be, and 9 times out of 10 they're having a great time, and most of them move on to make careers and make something out of themselves other than being dancers. But then some of them are just career dancers, and it's by choice. It's what they want to do, and it's part of our culture. Like, I can't emphasize that more. It's just part of Atlanta. Like, if you're against
when this guy says, you know, like, oh, well, it's deprecating to women and all that, it's like, this isn't some brothel over in Eastern Europe or in South America or something, where, like, someone's been sex trafficked there or something. Like, this is totally legal. These women choose to be there. They make a lot of money. They're well respected. If you are to disrespect any of these ladies while they're working, you get your ass kicked. And nobody's going to feel bad for you, and the cops can come out and they're not going to feel bad for you. Like, these people are protected. You know, I think that whole thing is bullshit. Like, he didn't have to give his opinion on it at all. If it was a game that he was playing in and he felt so bad about it, like, you know, because he's such a, you know, altar boy that, like, he can't be around, you know, ass and tits, like, even though they're not even there, like what the fuck, man? Like, this was just about, like, the reference and all the hip hop culture and stuff like that. That, again, you know, it isn't exclusive to Atlanta, but this one is. Like this one is kind of like an iconic
And
location in
to-
Atlanta. Everyone across America
To
knows
your
what
point,
it is. when
it
they think
almost
about
is
Atlanta.
exclusive to Atlanta because people will tell you the best strip clubs in the world are in Atlanta. Like straight up, they are.
But I'm saying, like, Vegas has strip clubs and Vegas. Well, I guess Vegas, you think more of like.
But my thing
brothels
is
and stuff,
too, like,
but
if it was a
it's like we had brothel,
but if it was a
night with
Vegas
Cornette.
night and they had a bunch of showgirls out there, like it's just as synonymous with showgirls to Vegas as Magic City is to Atlanta. It's just it's what
Right.
happens here. It's what goes down. It represents the city very well.
My other thing is the hypocrisy of Adam Silver and the NBA, and it's not even really like, people use the word hypocrisy like wrong a lot of times, but the fact that like they're willing to ignore so much other shit. Like the whole league is based about gambling now. Do you remember when we were growing up and like if you got caught gambling on a game, you were suspended from the league? And now it's like, every commercial gambling. Hey, check out FanDuel, check out DraftKings. Like, make sure you're betting, the under on these guys. And it's like, but we just have a night like, honoring an iconic club in Atlanta, and it wasn't until Luke Cornette and Al Horford and other dorks around the league came out and said like, oh, I just think that this isn't good for women. It's like, you stop with this performative bullshit, because then they didn't care about it. The NBA had to have approved of this event already. They had to have approved of the hoodies because it's official NBA merchandise, and it was on sale on the NBA hawkshop.com. And then all of a sudden, like, they hear a couple guys cry about it and like, huh, you know what? Maybe we should get out in front of
and
this.
Once again, it's
maybe
guys that aren't even
should take that position.
Guys that don't play for the team, don't play for either teams that are in the game, who aren't going to be anywhere.
Nobody on the Hawks complain. Nobody on the Magic complain.
All you got to do is be like,
none of the fans complain.
Yeah, and you can.
In fact, it sold a lot of tickets.
And you know what? It did sell out, and everybody who's going to that game now is now fucking pissed.
Yeah, but the thing is, people going to that game, like, they're still gonna be like, "Hey, it is Magic City night," and you know what? It might get a little more turned just because they tried to cancel it. You know what I mean? Think about how many, like, let's say that there were some dancers that were like, "Hey, you hear the Hawks are doing Magic City night? Like, we're going." You know what I mean? Like, just to go and like, hey, to be honored, like, hey, this night's about where we work or something. You know what I mean? Like, I imagine they're still going, or maybe they're saying fuck the NBA after that.
I would say fuck the NBA after that. And I just think it's bullshit. Can you imagine?
Well, I'm a slave to my favorite sports team. So
there's probably scenarios like this that the NBA was worried about going down. Like, imagine you're like fucking some suburban family and you're sitting on the couch watching the Hawks game with your kids, and they keep talking about it's Magic City tonight here in Atlanta, and you got to explain to like your fucking 10-year-old kid what Magic City is.
That's the flip side. And yes, that is certainly an argument. But again, it didn't say Magic City Strip Club. And it's like, how many kids are really watching, 10-year-old kids? You have a 10-year-old kid, Joey. Like, would he be watching the game and be like, Dad, what's Magic City? Or would he just,
he would.
He's barely watching the game. He's watching the iPad. With whatever he's doing.
With the kind of parent, with the kind of parent I am, he would be like, "What's Magic City?" And I would be like, "It's a strip club," and we would just keep it moving, But that's just me.
Yeah, right.
That's just me.
Yeah. You're not allowed to go there.
Yeah,
sorry,
not until you're 21. You know, cool.
Right. Exactly.
And then when you're 21,
no,
you're
going
to take me, so it's all good.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, you'd be like, "Hey, you owe me. You're paying."
But yeah,
at this point.
But speaking of the Hawks, let's at least talk about how the Hawks are, because currently you were telling me earlier when we ran into each other that the Hawks are the hottest team in the NBA right now. So if you care to elaborate on that.
They are. But right now, currently playing the Dallas Mavericks, who are not good. Fourth quarter, 9.5 minutes left. You swore to me earlier we were going to beat. It's not over yet. We're up by 2. But that's too close for comfort for me. But as this podcast is being recorded, the Hawks are the hottest team in the NBA. 6 games in a row. We got, less than 20 games left. We're favored in a lot of them. We're highly favored in a good chunk of them. I mean, you've got guys like, you got the Bucks again. We get to play the Magic, who are right ahead of us in the standings. We got Golden State, who's not very good. And those aren't the games that we're heavily favored in, but there are teams like the Kings that we're going to play who are actively trying to tank right now. So,
which I kind of feel like the Kings have been tanking like our entire life, to be completely honest.
But not on purpose.
Yeah, not on purpose.
This time on purpose.
This time they're actually doing it, but
But there's a lot of teams, and even there's a lot of teams where they get to this point in the season where it's like, you know what, it would be better, it'd be more positive for the team, like outlook. Maybe not like the guys on the team, they probably don't like this, but the organization, it'd be more positive if we lose and we get a better draft position at this point because we're not going to make the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? We're playing a lot of those. We do have the Pistons left. We got to play them. I'm interested to see how we stack up against them. I don't think that we're, I don't think that, we should be compared to the number one team in the East, but that's your measuring stick. How do we play against them? Because if we do get into the playoffs, it's like, what are we going to be able to do? But realistically right now, the Hawks, like with their schedule coming up and the fact that they've won these last 6, I think they're 2.5 games out of 6th place, or maybe only 2 games out of 6th place right now. Well, they're only like 3 games out of 5th place. So realistically, like we could snag the 6th spot. Yeah. And the possibility of the 5th spot still there.
So we recorded last week, and it's an episode that's gonna be in limbo for forever. But what we emphasized last week is like our entire life, Jeremy.
Yeah, it was too hot for YouTube. Hot. Sorry,
but like,
I'm just kidding. Now we had technical
our entire lifetime, and I mentioned this last week. I have always seen the Hawks be a playoff team. They have always made it to the playoffs no matter what. Mm-hmm. There's been very few years in my entire life where the Hawks haven't at least made the playoffs. So like I said last week, the Hawks getting to the playoffs doesn't excite me. Doesn't do anything for me. I've seen them in the playoffs hundreds of times. I've always seen them in the playoffs. But getting to the second round of the playoffs, yeah, that'll actually excite me. So I don't care about the Hawks being playoff caliber. I care about the Hawks making the second round of the playoffs, because once we get to the playoffs and I see the Hawks there, I'm like, yeah, I expected them to be in the playoffs because I see them there every fucking year. It's just getting to the second round of the playoffs that actually kind of excites me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I understand that, but like for someone like me and dude, as long as you've known me, I have been laser focused on the Hawks when they're playing, like during basketball season and even in the off season. Like I'm and obviously I'm the same way with the Falcons, but like out of everyone that we know, like I probably watch the Hawks the most. For me, and thinking about not just this season, but next season and the next season and the young core that we have, it does excite me to see them go into the playoffs, because even if they get bounced in the first round, I want to know how they play. And it's more about like these guys, this unit getting the experience, because the last team that we had that went to the playoffs, and they went to the playoffs together a couple times. This is the Trae Young and Bogdanovich guys, like all those. With that, like all those guys are gone now. So now, like the Jalen Johnson, Dyson Daniels, Zachary Reese-Shea, Okongwu was on the old team. But like these guys need to go and get some experience in the playoffs, because playing in the NBA playoffs, the pace is completely different.
Yeah.
It's a 7-game series. The only time you see that in the NBA is in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. This isn't anything like, like if you're in baseball, like, yeah, 7-game series is a big deal, but like you do 3-game series all the time. You do 4-game series all the time, where you get to see their team, all week. In the NBA, it's different.
NBA is a lot of one and done
in the playoffs.
Yeah, NBA is a lot of 1-game series.
Exactly.
And kind of to your point, there's been several times where I talk to people about the NBA and they're like, oh, I only watch the playoffs. Like, I don't even watch until the playoffs. And it's like,
well, the playoffs are a lot of fun.
When you put it that way, it makes sense, because like when you're seeing the NBA playoffs, you're seeing pure NBA basketball, like at its fucking finest, at its most exciting.
Absolutely.
At its most exhilarating. And it is a pretty long season. It is hard. Like even when you're a Hawks fan like us, it is grueling to pay attention the entire season. But once playoffs come and you know what's coming and you know what's happening and you know there's something to be excited for, it changes the entire scope of the game.
And then when a lot of my NBA knowledge about like players and teams, like it comes from watching the playoffs. Like when you see these 7-game series, and they're all 7-game series, which I love. Like baseball starts with like 3-game series, 5-game series, 7-game series for your championship and the World Series, right? Well, it's all 7 games. So it's like the NBA playoffs are long. And so there'll be teams like let's say like the Trailblazers versus the Timberwolves. And like if it gets to game 6, and I've been following that whole time, it's like I'm starting to know who these guys are. And then when the next season comes around, it's like, okay, I've got memory like in the bank about like who this is when they come play the Hawks or whoever, So like I do enjoy that. Like it gets so in depth. And I know people like, college basketball and March Madness, and that's fun for a different reason. because it's like any team can beat anybody. Like once you're in the dance, like you can knock off the number one team, and all of a sudden, you have a Cinderella run where James Madison is in the Final Four or whatever. But with the NBA, it's like it gets down to like strategies, like guys like Draymond Green become big stars, or let's say like Dame Lillard keeping the Blazers alive, on almost a half court three at the very end of the game or something like that.
Or Joel Embiid.
Yeah, and I was about to say, or like Trae Young, going against Milwaukee in Game 1 in the Eastern Conference Finals, or Trae Young in the New York Knicks. By the way, Trae Young, I got to see a little bit of him playing for the Wizards. I'm not sure I'm ever going to get used to this, man. It looks weird.
Look right, man.
He's playing like Trae, and you can tell like there were moments like with the Wizards, and I only saw like it wasn't exactly highlights, but it was just like footage of him playing. Because some of it like weren't like good offensive plays, where it's like Trae's so much further ahead than these young guys in Washington. And again, they're another team that's trying to lose. I think they just gave up 30 points to Bam Adebayo for the Heat in the first quarter.
My God.
Okay, so that's how bad the Wizards are. Anyways, but you could tell that like Trae would be passing the ball out because we all know that his court awareness is absolutely elite. And the guy didn't know where he was supposed to be. Or the guy wasn't ready for it. Like he ain't used to playing with Trae yet. I don't know how long he's going to play. He certainly looked like he didn't have that explosiveness like he did, like we've been missing over probably the last calendar year from Trae. So I wonder like how that's going to go. I mean, next year I think we'll get to see the real Wizards with Trae and Anthony Davis. We'll see how that goes. I think this year they're literally trying to tank. They're trying to hang on to that top 4 protected pick. But it is interesting, and I wish all the best for him. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's odd to see him. One more thing about the Hawks, dude. CJ McCollum.
What do you got to say about him?
I gotta go. I like him, dude. I like him.
I know he's definitely he's starting to grow on me, man.
He's kind of settled into like who he is. And
I think we're finally getting what we expected from him. I think we're finally starting. You know what I'm saying? Like now,
like the defense is never going to be good with CJ McCollum.
No,
because he's a bucket getter. And guess what? He gets fucking
buckets, man. But if you remember when we first got him, this is what I was saying about him. I said you can expect points out of him. He is a bucket getter, but like he's not exactly a court commander. You know what I'm saying? Like.
No, he's not. He's not. But he is learning to kind of hang back and pass the ball a little bit more. Whereas, like when he first got here, his first 2 weeks, we were talking about hero ball and all that shit.
It's because he wouldn't pass the ball, and it's because he is a bucket getter. He can get buckets, and I think that's why he wouldn't pass the ball. But now you got old boy Kuzmic. What the fuck is that?
Kispert.
Yeah.
Or are you talking about Kuminga?
Kispert and Kuminga, both of them. Now you got them to play off of, and I think he's finally starting to learn the chemistry and everybody, especially with Kuminga, who. We were talking about his injury earlier. You were saying he has a knee bruise, he got bruise.
Yeah, he got determined out. Yeah, he got determined out today. He's been questionable for about every game the last 3 games with what they were calling right knee inflammation. Okay, which doesn't sound very bad. Well, then it kind of got changed yesterday out of nowhere to a right knee bone bruise, which sounds a lot worse. But that's exactly what his injury designation was when he got traded here from Golden State, and he sat out a couple games before he came in and started lighting shit up. But I was listening earlier. I was listening to the pregame with Steve Holman, legendary Hawks announcer of 50 years. And he was saying that no one on the team has told him this, but he's pretty sure that Kuminga probably could play right now. But they're saying like, hey, man, like while we're playing – bad teams, like sit this one out.
Yeah, you still got to beat these bad teams, though.
You do, and I'm about to check on this again. Oh my God, I'm starting to get nervous, man, because it would suck if we lose to them. We're still winning. 5 minutes left. We're up by 5.
Okay.
I'm confident in the Hawks, man. They're playing really well. Jalen Johnson is. I think not everyone around the league is going to consider him a superstar right now, but he certainly has everyone's attention.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then Dyson Daniels still a jump shot away from being a superstar himself because he does everything else so good, man. The passing, his floater game is elite. His defense, We had an issue. We were playing the Bucks last week, and we started out. We had a Kongwu on Giannis, and Giannis was killing us. Then they decided to take our guard, Dyson Daniels, and have him guard Giannis, and it fucking worked. This guy can do that as a guard. He can guard somebody as big and monstrous as Giannis Antetokounmpo. So I like this team, man, and I think next year, again, we freed up $50 million. We're gonna have hopefully we're gonna have a nice draft pick. This draft should be very good for a lot of people. I'm stoked on this, man.
Oh, yeah.
And we will be in the playoffs. I'm saying it right here. ATOWN
Hell
Rundown.
yeah. No, and I completely agree with you. But moving on and speaking about attention, the NFL, there's a lot of tension going on right now. A lot of signings being made. One of the biggest signings we saw, which I didn't know if I was going to see him forever stay with the Raiders, but Max Crosby did move to Baltimore,
right.
which I think is stellar for him. I think that's going to greatly improve his career and his chances for a Super Bowl ring. That's crazy.
For sure.
I think also Mike Evans.
With all the help they needed on defense,
I think also Mike Evans went to the 49ers, if I'm not mistaken, which is fucking wild. But the most important signing for us here in Atlanta was, I'm sure by now everybody knows, Tua Tagovailoa is officially an Atlanta Falcon. I'm kind of 50-50 on this because
let's talk about
it. You know, it seems like him and Penix are going to be competing for the spot of starting quarterback, and you got somebody who's got multiple ACL problems competing against a guy with multiple concussion problems, and
it's almost like if you could Frankenstein your bodies, you could have a very good quarterback.
I talked to you before about how Michael Penix is a one hit away from ending his career or severely shortening it. And then you bring in another guy who's just a one hit away from ending his career. And if you look at the schedule, there's a reason I wanted to look at it with you, because this year we got to go against the Pittsburgh Steelers, who got TJ Watt. We got to go against the Cleveland Browns, who got Myles Garrett. And we also have to go against the Baltimore Ravens, who have Max Crosby. So you're just setting whichever quarterback up for failure that we have. Like either one of these three names I just mentioned can potentially end our quarterback's career this season.
And to your point, both of these guys at this point in their career, Penix and Tagovailoa, they don't really move around in the pocket.
Not at all.
They don't really escape like pressure like that.
No, they both get hit. So and I'll never forget that one hit where I thought Tagovailoa was fucking paralyzed immediately when he was laying there on the ground stiff.
And he had his hands or whatever. Like that was scary as hell. Picture. So that is the guy we're talking about.
Because first of all, the simple fact that he still plays football it is beyond me. But then we take a guy.
He loves the game.
We take a guy.
Can't wait to play.
I think he's had 4 concussions in his career, 3 or 4 concussions in his short career. He hasn't even been in the NFL.
He had some in Alabama.
He hasn't even been in the NFL for fucking 6 or 7 years yet. And then you got Michael Penix, who.
Yeah, what is this, like 4th or 5th year?
And then you got Michael Penix, who's hurt with an ACL every single fucking year. So you're going to have them compete for the job against each other. Like, in all honesty, at this point, it's almost like you should have gone for Geno Smith or somebody. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Geno Smith went back to the Jets today. You know, and on our last episode, I was talking about Jimmy Garoppolo. But I think it's kind of clear, like, where Matt Ryan and Ian Cunningham were going with this. Where it is, we need a stopgap guy. Okay, we talk about this every week. We need a stopgap guy. We know who he is now. It's Tua.
Do you think Tua is the stopgap?
You know,
you truly believe that though?
Yeah. I think he is. And
how many weeks before
weeks
before he gets a concussion and Penix has to come in for him?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think that he's the stopgap in the fact that, like, you know, it's not like, hey, he's going to be our bona fide starter all year. I think that he's going to start week 1. I think it's important that you have a quarterback come in who's going to be able to work through the offseason with the rest of the team and get first-team reps under the new system, new coaching staff, new offensive system, all of that. So there is no familiarity with anybody out there. Here's the and, you know, I'll continue on the bad side before I get to the upside. You're right, like, about the injury thing. Like, now you got 2 very injury-prone quarterbacks who, you know, could be one bad hit away from, you know, being out for the season again, or maybe just never coming back. The main thing is that I guess on the good side is, Tua has had some good seasons when he had weapons. We had Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill. He put up 70 points in a game. And he had good seasons. And Mike McDaniel, like those were his best years, to be honest, is when Tua was having success. Yeah. So we know he has that in him somewhere. He is kind of looked at, or he's talked about around the league, or he has been in the past as like an elite processor. I don't know how much I really believe that because, first of all, he throws over the middle. He throws inside the numbers. Michael Penix does not. That's a big problem, right? So you got a guy who throws inside the numbers, but he also throws a lot of interceptions because I think Tua even himself has been quoted like in interviews that he kind of when a bad interception happens, he's just like, I just made a quick decision and it turned out to be a blind pass. It's like, well, we can't have that, dude. But this guy can come in. He can take the team through the offense through the offseason program and training camp and start week 1. We know he can start week 1.
I can almost
we don't know that Michael Penix.
I can almost guarantee you that Tua is going to start week 1.
Same here. I think that Matt Ryan and Ian Cunningham and Kevin Stefanski all know that that's not happening. It doesn't matter what he fucking says on a podcast. Michael Penix, doesn't matter what he's saying. I think that he's worried about losing his job by sitting out. So he's just like, nope. Hey, don't pencil anybody in for week 1. I'm coming. I'm going to be there. It's like, well, that's hard to believe, man. Like you tore your ACL, over halfway through the season.
What's going to happen is you're going to come in week 1 and you're going to tear your ACL week 1. That's what's going to happen.
And nobody wants to see that.
Of course not. I don't want to see that happen to anybody.
Here's more of the upside. If you look at, and just being realistic here, if you look at what the market was out there for quarterbacks, you had Malik Willis, okay, who looked good in his little bit of time he played with Green Bay when Jordan Love was out, looked really good actually. The Dolphins signed him for a lot of money. We knew that he was gonna get some money to be a starter, right? So they got him, so he's off the table. You got Kyler Murray, who we both talked about, I think on the Lost episode, would be a very interesting
good. I feel like he would fit in very well here, but it's too late.
He's
for
still
that.
out there, but my thing is that I think he has more options. You have to start spending money. Kenny Pickett just signed with, I think maybe the Panthers or somebody for like $9 million. Well, you got Tua Tagovailoa for $1.3 million.
The vet minimum.
The vet minimum. And Tua agrees to this because he got cut from the Dolphins. The Dolphins are taking a $99 million cap hit, dude. So I think it's like 55 this year, and then it'll be 45 or 44 next year.
Let me ask you this: Do you think the strategy behind this, and we know the strategic side of football because we've seen it happen over and over in a lifetime. And when you think about it from a business standpoint, it's kind of like, okay, who is the most affordable, reliable stopgap quarterback we can get? Oh, we can spend $1 million on Tua Tagovailoa, and then here's our stopgap quarterback. And now we still have money to give him weapons because he's only good with weapons. So then we go out and we reacquire an old friend. We got Austin Hooper back. So we got a tight end that plays tight end so that the other tight end can play receiver. So we can set up with multiple tight ends out there.
And Stefanski loves his 2 tight end sets. And you and I talked about this. Like, I think Hooper's the right guy because he's big enough and he can catch.
But the thing about Austin Hooper is he's also a tight end that fucking plays tight end. He'll run your ass to the ground.
Yes.
So then
I love that.
Hooper, you got Pitts, you got fucking Drake London. So now we need what? 2 more receivers and we're set. And with the money we saved signing Tagovailoa, we can probably fill that. We can probably do that. Now we got to worry about the hole that Caden Ellis left us.
We already got him. We'll get to that. But on the wide receiver front, we just got Jahan Dotson, who is he's a good receiver, but he was playing with the Eagles and he was kind of buried in their depth chart. They had so many good receivers, this guy barely got to play.
But is he better than
before they got
Mooney,
AJ Brown?
though?
This guy looked pretty good. I think he's going to be just fine. Well, I mean, last year's Mooney or the Mooney before that? That was the problem.
That's
with
what
Mooney.
I was saying. I was saying that very sarcastically.
He was extremely
because right now it's not going to be hard to be better than Mooney.
Well, and then you got another guy, an old friend of ours, Olamide Zaccheaus. They just signed him. So now you're starting to fill out that wide receiver room.
And Zacchaeus was with
you
us.
got another tight end.
Zacchaeus was back in the Desmond Ritter days, wasn't he?
He was still here, but he also was here when Matt Ryan's last 2 years.
He was.
He was great.
Did we have him the same time as Sanu? I'm starting to think we did. Were they on the same team? Or he might have been
maybe
right
so
after
because
him.
Taylor Gabriel had already gone.
Yeah.
And the Sanu trade happened like mid-season.
Sanu went to the Patriots,
Zacchaeus
right?
may have been. Yep, Zacchaeus may have been on a team with Sanu, but if not, he was there like the year after. These were like the last years
remember
of
Zacchaeus.
Matt Ryan.
He wasn't loud, but he was very reliable.
He had some fucking massive plays, man. Like he could burn people back then, and he could leak out. Another thing we just went and spent money on, Nick Folk, kicker.
Okay.
So Zane Gonzalez is out. We know who our kicker is going to be. This guy's been in the league for a long time. If you remember, this is the guy. We just got him from the Jets. If you remember when we lost to the Jets last year, and it was raining, and it was like a 62-yarder or whatever. It was his that fucking barely made it over. So Nick Folk, veteran kicker, reliable kicker. Didn't want to go to die on the Jets.
That's something I do want to say
us.
is like we might not be making the big like fucking marquee name deals that everyone wants us to, but we're making some solid, smart deals when it comes to football players.
That's what I think. I think we're filling out a roster, and I feel like having Ian Cunningham and going for these just kind of mature decisions versus Terry Fontenot like going out and paying too much for, or spending too much draft capital to get somebody fucking that ends up in jail after their rookie season or something, We'll get to that. But another guy that we just got, Jake Bailey, the Dolphins punter, get this, dude. We signed him for 3 years, $9 million. You're paying him almost 3 times more than what's going to be your week 1 starting quarterback. Isn't that crazy?
That's fucking awesome.
Your new punter. Yeah. So
Kicker's finally making some money, dude.
I love it, dude. I love it. Now, I don't think that's an overpay for him at all. You need a good punter. And as many times we talked about last season about how bad our fucking special teams is, I'm kind of glad that nobody's invited back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Go get other people. Give this guy $3 million a year. Give this guy, the fact. And I wanted to say about Tua, like he accepts $1.3 million a year to play in Atlanta, probably because he's like, hell yeah, I'll go play in Atlanta. But also, the Dolphins are paying him. He's making $56 million. We're paying him one of that.
Dude, it wouldn't matter if he signed somewhere as a backup.
That's
crazy.
He
would still fucking be making that kind of money.
Dude, he could have gone to the Chiefs. You know what I mean? Or whoever.
Speaking of the Chiefs, they made a great sign. They signed Kenneth Walker. So,
yeah, they got Kenneth Walker. Super Bowl MVP. Here's another thing that I want to say about Tua, though. And this is something I heard Joe Patrick say. I can't take credit for this, but I thought this was fucking brilliant. So, turn back the clock a couple years. Kirk Cousins leaves the Minnesota Vikings. And they go out and get a stopgap guy. And the whole fan base is like, what? This is fucking stupid. The guy played for the Browns, and the guy played for the Panthers, and he wasn't very good. He won 14 games for them that year. He goes and gets paid and gets signed by Seattle, and he just won a Super Bowl, Sam Darnold. What if Tua could be a guy like that? I mean, these things can happen.
He's going to go to another team and win a Super Bowl?
No, but he could win 14 games for us, like Sam Darnold did for the Vikings.
No, absolutely. I believe it.
Right?
I believe it. And see, the thing about Tua is like, it's not his talent that bothers me. It's not his talent that I'm worried about. Like talent, he's got all the talent that I need, that I require from a quarterback. I'm just worried about his physicality and his like well-being. Sure. I'm just worried about him not making it through the season, because in all honesty, if I had a choice, if they were both 100% healthy and I could start Penix or start Tua, I would start Tua no matter what, because he's got the experience.
I think I would too. I've seen more. He's got the experience, and whether Penix says he's ready or not, motherfucker still has so much to goddamn learn before I want to see him starting on the football field, you know? And I'm not saying he'll never be capable. I'm not even saying that he's not capable now, but ideally I feel like he hasn't had a full season of learning yet. He's been thrown to the fire. He's been thrown to the lions. He hasn't had a chance to just sit back and fucking learn. And that's what he needs to do. He needs to just learn the game. He needs to learn the NFL. I mean, look at it. Jordan Love
set behind Aaron Rodgers for how long before he actually started?
Mhm.
And then now look at him now. You know what I'm saying?
Couple years, yeah.
So
Yeah. And I mean that was the plan with him with Kirk Cousins. It's just they abandoned that plan. Raheem Morris,
I know,
fucking just completely.
And now I see it coming from this young man's standpoint. Now he's like, well, I've been there. I've been starting. I don't want this taken away from me. I want to keep starting. It's like, yeah, you were forced into a position you should have never been forced into. And now you have that job scarcity. Now you're worried it's going to be all taken away from you. But you need to just learn, because the best case scenario, best and worst case scenario, you sit back, you learn halfway through the season, maybe you can start again, or maybe next season when Tua is gone, you can start again. But you need to fucking learn. You still have so much growing you have to do as a starting quarterback. First off, get into training camp after your ACL is healed and learn how to play under center. That's a good start, you know?
Yeah. And look, Tua is not the biggest under center guy either. It's not like what we saw from Michael Penix last year as far as like coming out in the pistol that much. But I want to see him do it too. And look, Kevin Stefanski has been very vocal about like, I do want our quarterback to play under center and do play action under center, which, I mean, okay, so whoever it's going to be. And, you know, you got to believe he was in the room when Ian Cunningham said, hey, we're talking to Tua today.
Here's my thing.
And I'm thinking he said, hell yeah, get him.
Here's my thing. With a play action quarterback, though, you have to have a really good pocket to set up play action, especially when you have two injury prone quarterbacks. What is our offensive line looking like? Especially when you're talking about...
So far, it's looking the same as last year.
When you're talking about stacking up against guys like Max Crosby, TJ Watt, Myles Garrett, you know, play action...
Well, we should have Caleb McGarry coming back.
But play action...
Remember, he got injured in training camp last year.
Play action can turn your quarterback into a sitting duck. You know, it's ripe for the picking when it comes to sacking, you know?
Absolutely. If they read it right. You know, you gotta have that cadence, man. You gotta have that hard count. You gotta trick them. So... You do have Bijan Robinson back there, and that helps you because he is an absolute threat. If you sell out on the play action and you're wrong, and Bijan's got it, see ya.
Absolutely.
You know, like, that's a big gamble. But I see, you know, a couple different scenarios that could be happening with this. Like, you know, obviously Tua could come in and he could be a huge success. I'm not putting my money on that. Or, you know, he comes in and we're going back and forth between him and Penix and whoever's healthy. You know, this guy's injured. Now this guy's injured. And which also brings up, like, we need to go find a real third string guy because that's a reality. Yeah. We could be down two quarterbacks with these two dudes. Could. So that's something that we have to look out for. And that one, you know, maybe you spend another $1 million or do you go and get a more expensive third string quarterback? This is where you draft. You'll get a third string quarterback for, you know, $4 million a year. I don't want to draft that this year. I really don't. Joking. I don't think we should. But look, if things don't work out,
we should draft. Like, I mean, going into that now, like,
man, you need edge rush.
Yeah,
you need edge rush. Like, you still need it. Jalen Walker's great. They did sign Cam Thomas, who's, you know, not that great. He's played on like 4 different teams over the last 3 years. They just got that kid from Houston. I think that he's more of a linebacker. But yeah, Cam Thomas is like the only edge rusher that they've gotten. What's this kid's name? Christian Harris, linebacker from Houston. He's interesting because he's from Alabama, or he played at Alabama. Mm-hmm. That's how I know about him. But he, not that I'm a fucking Tide fan. Let's not get that.
No, he's a wild.
Anyways, I know about him. Yeah. So I knew about him. He came into the league with Houston, and he was all right his rookie year. Looked like he made a big jump his second year, and he got injured.
Right.
And then Houston goes out and gets a couple more guys, and all of a sudden, like, he's a third stringer. And so when you look at his numbers right now, like, they don't look amazing because he plays like when guys are injured, or he plays when they're sitting the starters, when they're going to the playoffs or something like that. But this dude's got a lot of talent. So if he's healthy now, again, his second year, this is probably like his 5th year now. His second year, he got that injury, and he's just kind of been buried in the depth chart. He could be interesting.
I don't know if you've seen this. Obviously, I don't think we can give them anything, but apparently the Eagles are listening to trade offers for Jalen Carter.
I saw that, and I would be interested.
Right, but
remember why he fell in the draft?
What could we even get for him, though? I mean, what could we give for him, you know?
Well, it sounds like Ian Cunningham is not willing to give up draft capital.
No, he blatantly said that.
And in the NFL, that's how you make trades. So I don't really see that happening. It's interesting. I don't see the Falcons front office doing that. But back to what I was saying about like, you know, like what's going to happen with these two quarterbacks is like, if it goes bad, okay, you know, you don't pick up Penix's 5th-year option after next year. And then Tua, you paid him $1 million. He's gone. And, you know, if it goes bad, that means you have a good draft pick. Then you go get your quarterback in 2027. You're done with the Kirk Cousins money. You know, like things, there's a lot more options when it comes to 2027 if things go bad, quarterback-wise, than there are right now. So right now you got to do something. You go get Tua. Like, okay, let's see what he does. Think about how many Georgia fans are like, fuck, I can't root for Tua in Atlanta.
Yeah, well, you know, I mean, why? You cheered for Julio, so.
That's true. But, you know, yeah, you're right. They cheered for Julio. Yeah. But, I mean, like, just Tua, like, breaking Georgia's heart, like, in that national championship.
Yeah, I loved it.
Kind of legendary, and, you know, I imagine a lot of those guys just
I think that's one of the few times I've ever cheered for Alabama.
Nice. I'll never cheer for Alabama ever.
Dude, somebody told me recently, they're like, it is just admirable. I've never seen somebody hate the Georgia Bulldogs as much as you do. And I was like, yeah, you're right. I fucking hate UGA.
I don't hate them like that. Yeah, says the guy that lives
and
in
I live and work in Athens, dude. And I can't stand UGA, dude.
I never hated UGA, but I definitely knew a bunch of like douchey tool guys that, you know, like the only thing they knew about sports in high school was the Bulldogs. And it's like, bro, I know more about your favorite team than you.
Yeah,
do.
absolutely.
And I'm the fucking, you know, heavy metal guy over here. I wasn't even wearing sports shit like to school back then. You know what I mean? And then like you want to talk about like the Braves or the Falcons or anything else, like they have no fucking clue.
They only know UGA, or they only pretend to know UGA.
They're like, my peepaw loves Bulldogs, so I watch Bulldogs. Yeah. You know, and I still
except you're not from Athens. Like, nobody in your family went to UGA.
Nope. No, you're from Stockbridge.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. Yeah. I can go on and on.
Which is much closer to Georgia Tech.
I can go on and on, but it is what it is.
They're also the same people that say Jeff Gordon's gay. If you remember that.
Yeah, because he drives a rainbow car.
That was so dumb, dude. Yeah, right. Like, so
dude, and
silly.
I was a Jeff Gordon fan back in the day, too. I liked it, dude.
I like
Jeff Gordon, but I liked him because he had that cool-ass fucking Jurassic Park Monte Carlo that was awesome. That's what I liked.
Yes, hell yeah. Hell yeah. I used to play the NASCAR Thunder.
Dude, NASCAR Thunder is one of the best fucking video games. It was so much fun.
That was a lot of fun, dude. You need to come up to the bar, by the way. I was thinking, if you come up to the bar, dude, we've got like NASCAR Thunder. We've got a couple WWE games,
yeah, dude.
Or WWF back then. We got some good shit, dude.
What system do you have?
WrestleMania. Nah, we got a GameCube.
Oh, nice. Hell yeah, dude.
We have a modded GameCube. Don't tell Nintendo, but we have a modded GameCube.
Late. You already told them.
Games on it. I actually told a guy, this is a side note from the sports podcast. There was a guy that came up to the bar and he was wearing like an official like Nintendo jacket. And I was like, hey, man, I like that jacket. Like as he's ordering a beer. And he's like, oh, yeah, I work for Nintendo. I was like, oh, well, don't look at my GameCube over there. He goes, I already noticed it, man. I think it's fucking awesome. I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah. That's what's up.
Because Nintendo will sue your ass.
Yeah, they will. So, yeah, I mean, I guess that wraps up Falcons talk. We're going to see what happens. Yeah. I'm actually not too worried about it. So, but there is another thing I wanted to talk to you about. So right now we're in the midst of the World Baseball Classic. Very exciting time for baseball. Mm-hmm. So far, the leaders in their respective brackets are Puerto Rico 3-0, USA 3-0, Japan 4-0, Venezuela 3-0, and those are just the first place of their brackets. Those are the pools that they're the leaders in.
Are any of those countries surprising to you?
No, not at all.
Not at all, dude.
And I mean,
those are all some of the best places.
You also got the Dominican Republic, which is still 3-0. Italy is 2-0. Cuba is 2-1. You know, the only team that's really bombing.
Who beat Cuba, I wonder?
There's only a couple of teams that are bombing. Brazil is 0-4. Nicaragua is 0-4. Panama is 1-3. Colombia is 1-3. Canada is 1-1. I think Freddie Freeman's still playing for Canada, if I'm not mistaken.
I know historically he has.
But there was one thing I wanted to ask you. And the last time the World Baseball Classic happened, I had this argument with somebody. And in my opinion, if you look at it in the grand scheme of things, I feel like the World Baseball Classic is, and I'll explain the whole argument because he made a good point. I feel like I made a good point too. But I feel like this is actually the legit World Series. And when I said that to him, he's like, no, the World Series is in the MLB. And I was like, well, when you look at this, this is literally all the best players in the world playing for their respective countries, battling for this one championship. So technically,
like the World Cup.
It is the series of the world. And then he says, no, the World Series belongs in the MLB because the best players in the world play for the MLB. And my argument was, yes, but they're representing a team. Here, they're representing their country. And he's like, yeah, they're representing their country because they're not good enough to play for the MLB. So...
yeah, well...
So what is your opinion on this matter?
Yes and no. I think that's interesting, man. So, yeah, I see the point where it's like the best players in the world play in the MLB, and that's for sure. And they're from Japan, and they're from Curacao, or they're from the Netherlands, or they're from Canada, or they're from Mexico, they're from Cuba, like wherever, or they're from the U.S. But you're right. Like that doesn't represent
the world.
The world. It represents the team that paid them, which is the Atlanta Braves or the Kansas City Royals or whatever. So if you think about it like how the World Cup is, think about soccer for a second. You can win Champions League, which is, the top leagues competing against each other, which is awesome. That's not necessarily a world title. I think of that as being like the most professional, soccer title you can win, or you can win the Premiership, which is winning the Premier League, which is the most competitive top league in the world, or you have the World Cup, where it's like everyone has to have a tie to this country.
Yes. Where you represent your,
and like
you're not representing your club. Now you represent your country.
And when you win the World Cup, like there's a lot of soccer players that will tell you, hey, would you rather win, a Champions League trophy or a Premier League trophy or the World Cup?
Straight up.
What do you think they're
World
picking?
Cup?
Yeah,
1,000%. And a lot of times, especially when it comes to soccer, like you'll see players who are the greatest players of all time, like Zlatan Ibrahimovic, one of the greatest players that ever walked God's green earth. Wins titles for PSG.
He is God.
Yeah, he is God.
That's what he said.
But he wins titles for PSG. He's won a title in every division he's played in. But then when he goes to the World Cup, he's from Sweden. Sweden doesn't do very well in the World Cup, and he has to be the best player representing Sweden. So now you go from being surrounded on players on the best team to now you got to go to where your country is, and you got to be the best player for your entire country. I think that actually makes it a lot more difficult.
Yeah, and it certainly makes it more difficult.
I don't think Sweden's ever won a World Cup, and I don't think they're gonna.
No. And then the U.S., man, like we've never made it. World Cup this year, we're definitely going to do some World Cup segments this summer.
We have to. Part of it's happening in Atlanta, dude.
That's right. Can't fucking wait. And the U.S. actually has a good draw. Like I think we got a lot of teams that we can beat in that first bracket. That's going to be a lot of fun. Like I have this kind of, it's not like a love-hate with soccer, but it's, when I'm into it, it's a lot of fun. And it's usually around the World Cup. And I think there's a lot of Americans that are like this, Like I watch Atlanta United. By the way, they still have not won a game, 3 games into the season. But they did finally score a goal. They scored 2 on Saturday, which is nice, at the home opener. And I watch Manchester United sometimes when I'm available to watch it and it's convenient for me. That's my Premier League team. I don't know if you knew that. But when the World Cup comes around, man, like if the U.S. is doing something, it's a lot of fun. You go out to a bar at, usually it's somewhere across the world, so it's like a weird time. It'll be like 8 a.m., and everybody's there drinking and sweating and, crowded around each other. Like you can't even move in this bar. Like when something good happens, it's a lot of fun. I remember in 2014, we lost to Belgium, but it was we had a nice little run. That was exciting. The last World Cup we weren't even in. This one we're in. So I'm gonna be at all the bars doing I might even be bartending for some World Cup this summer. We're gonna have at our bar. We're gonna have a big projector going, like so the whole wall is gonna be the World Cup match is gonna be fucking badass. But yeah, man, when World Cup gets here, like I'll be a lot more into soccer, a lot more in tune, like who the players are, who's playing for what country, what countries are good, what countries are bad. I know right now, like it looks like the U.S. has a nice path to start. You know what I mean? Like I don't think they're going to get bounced immediately.
We'll see.
We'll see, man. Yeah, I mean, I'm ready to be disappointed. By the way, checking in on the Hawks. They won 7 in a row,
there
baby.
We go.
7 in a row. Let's look at who we're playing next, man, because like I said, the schedule is on the back half. Like we've got, by the way, we're 3 games over 500 now, whereas we could not get to 500 forever. We are 1 game back from Philadelphia. We're number 9, they're number 8. Philadelphia, interestingly enough, if we tie them, we own the tiebreaker because we've swept the season series. We beat them 4 times. We fucking own those guys.
So far.
Ever since that game 7 and Kevin Huerter, Red Velvet crushed their ass. Miami 2 games ahead of us at number 7. Orlando, who we're going to see soon, 2 games ahead of us in number 6.
We're going to see soon at what?
And then 3 games.
Magic City night.
That's right. Yeah. So we're going to see them on Monday. And look, they got to win. They got to win for that, just to shove it up Adam Silver's ass. And Luke Cornett.
And everybody,
Horford.
If you have your Magic City hoodie, just wear it. Go ahead and wear it.
Dude, I saw this funny meme about, like, since they canceled the Magic City night, they're like, put it on the Mount Rushmore of canceled Atlanta sports merchandise. And it had, like, maybe you could help me out with some of what some of these would have been, but it was like the Magic City hoodie, the Braves All-Star Game hat.
I don't know if I remember that one.
Remember we lost the All-Star game.
Yeah.
Over politics.
Now I know what you're saying. Okay. I didn't know the reference to that. Okay.
It was all things that were supposed to be here. There was another one I think that was like during COVID that we lost. Like we lost the event or something. But yeah, so it's one of those, it's an Atlanta relic. Like in 30 years, if you have that Magic City hoodie, because the deal that they did with us, everyone that pre-ordered it is still going to get
absolutely.
it.
You better.
But they can't sell them at the games.
Okay.
Or at the game. Yeah.
I wonder how much they're going to go for on eBay.
A lot. I
wonder, have the pre-orders been done? Let's see.
Oh yeah, I think it's over. They can't do more pre-orders.
No, I mean, like, have they been delivered?
Because they officially canceled it. I don't know, because I haven't seen any on Twitter or anything.
I don't know. It says right here you can get it for $27.95 on Pinterval. Nope.
Yeah, but that's someone probably remaking.
Yeah, I see a bunch of remakes.
That's a knockoff.
I see a bunch of remakes. Yeah, let's see. I don't see any legit ones, but these look fucking cool, dude.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's got any of the.
I don't think they've come in yet.
Ones,
I don't think anybody's gotten theirs delivered yet.
No. Man, where's that Mount Rushmore, man? It was so funny. But yeah, it's like we keep losing all these events, and like someone's got merch from it. I remember when we lost the All-Star game, I went to a game shortly after that at Truist Park, and someone had filled up the urinals. Like they put one All-Star game koozie in each urinal for people to piss on.
That's awesome.
I was like, okay, that was amazing. Yeah, I don't think I can find it. Oh, well. If I do find it, we'll bring it up next week, and we'll talk about the Mount Rushmore of lost Atlanta sports. Oh, yeah, one of them was the Super Bowl 51 Falcons Super Bowl champions that got sent off to some third world country or whatever that Bill Belichick's girlfriend was wearing.
Dude, I had a friend who got a Super Bowl champions shirt before the game happened, and I was like, why the fuck are you doing that? You're jinxing us.
Yeah, no. Well, everyone told me that I jinxed it. But
did you? What'd you do?
Oh, I was, historically I had a Super Bowl party at my apartment, just a little 2-bedroom apartment. I mean, I had, 20 people there, and we're all out back throwing the football during Lady Gaga's halftime performance. And I'm saying like, dude, we're going to crush them. We're putting up 50. We're putting up 60. I was like, I already texted my boss. I'm like, I ain't coming to work Tuesday. I'm going to the fucking parade. And then as soon as it happened, everyone's like, you fucking jinxed it. I was like, there's nothing I can do to change what's going to happen on that field. If there was, trust me, I'd be doing it.
It was awful.
You know what I mean?
I had my boss at the time was a Packers fan. And I remember during halftime, he was texting me saying, congratulations. It's going to feel good to finally have one. And people who were all types of people were texting me like, oh yeah, this is great. Like, good for you. And
Same
then
here.
like, as soon as it was over, everyone was texting me like, what the fuck just happened? I was like, I don't have any answers. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what the fuck just happened. I don't know what the fuck
I'm just as lost as everyone else. Yeah. Yeah, I was like, they got to review that play. They got to review that play. His knee was down before he, hit the end zone. Down. But it's like, what was I going to do? Put them at the 1 inch line?
Yeah, because they still had time to run it in.
On second down. Yeah, in overtime. Like, come on, dude, nothing was going to happen. But
oh well,
I digress.
All right, well, that's this week's episode. Thank you for joining us. We promise we'll be back. We will never miss another episode, you guys. We swear. But yeah, find us on.
We did the episode. We just
couldn't put it out because
get lazy.
I just don't know how to make things happen without Tyler, who was out of town. So you'll only ever.
No, and the other thing was we had microphone.
We did have microphone trouble. I got a new microphone from Jeremy today, so everything should be smooth operator from now on. We'll have a consistent hot girl summer. Everything will be fucking fine. So, but from now on, you guys, every Thursday, check us out on YouTube at ATOWN Rundown. Follow us on the Instagram at ATOWN Rundown. Listen to Jeremy's band Sunmancer. You can listen to them on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube. You can download their albums. You can fucking watch their music videos. It's a great fucking time. Great fucking band. Fucking see you next week, guys.
Peace.